Queen was escorted by the President, the Duke walked with Mrs. Fatia Nkrumah, the Egyptian-born lady whom the President married 4 years ago. The Safo, as Nkrumah loves to be called, the word means redeemer, presented the chiefs and others of note. Their obvious pleasure showed how keen the disappointment would have been if Her Majesty had not come to Ghana. It all seemed to illustrate the mystique of the monarchy. For while Ghana insists on being a republic and makes it clear to the people that Her Majesty is not their queen, all at the airport received her with as much enthusiasm as if she ruled over them by divine right. Chiefs and such followers as they allowed made up a total of more than 3,000. Quite apart from the wives already mentioned, some of them have more than 50 children. It's as well that most of them stayed at home. When all the greetings and presentations were over, the President and his guests began the 6-mile drive to the Christiansborg Castle. The Duke rode with Madam Nkrumah. The route was lined by fully 350,000 people. Next day, there was a parade of the armed forces in the Queen's honour. Black Star Square cost the strained Ghanaian exchequer £1 million to lay out. But the President needs such an arena when he addresses mass meetings of his people. Hot for you, sir? What must it be for the visitors? But now all eyes were on the troops. British trained and displaying that the highest military traditions were being followed in these days of independence. The Army numbers 6,000. The National Police, 10,000. The pick of them lined up for inspection by the Queen and the President. The Queen could well understand with what pride Nkrumah and his people look upon the army. Independent Ghana is a very young nation, only 4 years old. It was not proclaimed a republic until last year. This was a formal ceremony. On the following day came an informal one, the surfboat regatta, and the display of skill used in civil purposes. As Accra is without a harbour, ships have to anchor a mile out in the roads and be loaded and unloaded by surfboats. Each has a helmsman and 10 paddlers, and as they pack 1 3/4 tons of cargo, and the boat weighs 1,800 weights, strength as well as skill is needed to fight the breakers. The regatta was seen by Her Majesty from a mogul pavilion, a portable one which will be much used during the tour. And here's that strength and skill we mentioned. Naturally, the people of Accra are very fond of the surfboats and the men who man them. Today, they have one regret. When the huge artificial harbour at Tamar, 6 miles away, is completed, the surfboats will be out of business. Perhaps that was one reason why the 1,000 men and the 115 boats taking part determined to put up a fine show. How well they earned their applause. More of the real Ghana was seen at the Makola Market, an association of 80,000 members. Here the Queen met the people. Indeed, almost rubbed shoulders with them. Every visitor to Accra wants to see the mammies, the plump stallholders who realize that silence has no place in salesmanship. Anyway, it's all here. gay clothes, they have to be gay to sell in Ghana, spices, vegetables, and doubtless detergents. Impossible here to be unaware of how warm-hearted, vital, abounding with life are the lovable people of Ghana.
Good afternoon, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, current President of Ghana. On the 17th of October 2024, you said to the then President of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, that it is your responsibility to deal with Galamsey now and not mine, because you are just a political leader and not the commander-in-chief of Ghana. And this is exactly what you said at Ningo Pampram.
As Sam George said, President Abuaji said I should come out clearly on Galamsey. It looks like he doesn't live in this country because I've commented on Galamsey over and over again. The Investor of Energy and Natural Resources gave political leaders the platform to outline their policy on small-scale mining. And for a whole hour, I outlined our policy. After that, there was questions and answers for 2 hours. We're there for 3 hours. So he should just tell his Flagstaff House media to get him the tape of what I said at the University of Energy and Natural Resources. Recently, when I met the clergymen, the Christian community, a part of my speech and the questions and answers was again on Galamsey and small-scale mining. And so, I mean, there's a lot that I've said. It is his responsibility. The people of Ghana elected him. He is currently the president of Ghana. And it is his responsibility to deal with Galamsey now. I know that after 7 January 2025, when Ghanaians are voting,
One day, you will be a criminal. More people is
Welcome back to the other side of democracy. Abronya DC, the Bono regional chairman. He's in town, he's resting. He'll give us an interview when he has time. Abronya, if you are watching, good evening. Welcome. We thank you for staying safe and staying healthy and coming back to continue with the struggle. Soldier on, my brother. Soldier on for democracy. We are all with you. Free speech cannot be intimidated under any circumstances under the 1992 Constitution. Tonight, we have major issues. President John Dramani Mahama has launched a big push. We're going to have a look at it. But there was fireworks in the Upper West regional capital, where the Ghana Bar Association clashed, locked horns with the learned Attorney General and Minister of Justice, who is also the leader of the bar. We'll get into the nitty-gritties as Dominic Ayeni berates the bar for showing double standard, self-serving, in criticizing the processes that Justice Gertrude Tokonu, the former Chief Justice, was taken through pursuant to the Article 146 procedures. Attorney General says that this has happened to other people, and the Bar Association then was silent. He wonders why the Bar Association is raising issues. Before the Bar Conference, we were told that there will be a certain foreigner attending the Bar Conference and speaking, the chairman of the Bar Council of United Kingdom, etc., etc. Somehow, they didn't find themselves in WA yesterday. We are yet to get any information from the Ghana Bar Association why that arrangement was changed. We are interested in that because as soon as the announcement came out that the UK Bar Council people will be attending the Bar Conference, and that the UK Bar Council had issued a statement criticizing the government's handling of the Gertrude Tokonu issue, the Attorney General was concerned and issued a counter statement, a rebuttal or a rejoinder to the UK Bar Council. So that now that the UK Bar Council did not find itself at the conference, we are wondering whether the Attorney General, who is leader of the bar and who is able to do so, raised significant objection to the attendance. During his speech in WA, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice also said that he criticized the bar that Ghana's jurisprudence is not subject to international review, etc. Not in the same words, but that's what he said. Good evening, welcome. Tonight is going to be explosive. Also, we're going to show you a bit about Nana Akufo-Addo's experience and exposure. Today, he's telling the whole world that he had been in touch with Apostle Kojo Safo for 40 years. No one knew that story. Akufo-Addo is a man with deep roots in many parts of Ghana. We'll show you his arrival at Apostle Kojo Safo's house with his entourage, including Afenyo Makin, former Attorney General Godfrey Damne, former Chief of Staff Fremont Parry, Albert Kandapa, his former National Security Minister. All of them and others, Nite Kotego and Co, were all there with Akufo-Addo when he visited the house of our dear Apostle Kojo Safo, the father of Adjoa Safo, a former Member of Parliament for Domi Kwabenya. Also, the NPP parliamentary candidate for Domi Kwabenya in the last election, Ambassador Mike Okwe Jr., was present yesterday, I believe, to share his condolences with the family. But there is a big funeral, for which reason we are all in black in the studio today. Apart from Apostle Kojo Safo, we have still not recovered from Daddy Lumba. But this week, you know that this is happening in Kumasi and is massive. This is the announcement.
Osechebuyai, Ram Anoma, crop bia yefi, and woman passachi kotoko. Kotoko free dudum fredo, Sina Peja so say, Ukuma Pema, a Pembeba, or Santa Hino 2 4 say to Chotosumi, or Kojia Maupem Swadeshe, kotoko hini pagya uti o na wunua na kunadu yi adomoto so miensa na asante ma abrene man edu ampo frantwi kotoko yema wo free kanchinchi di amani nsema asante man di tipre ni amoakwa eyi waye ododo bibia woni mo mahwe ntutu meja wrampo mfie osi abura odum frete dan frete chempa wo chema no so mpempem basetia basakesi oyi adom atofukasi a wutrum pempem ankoma akrawa bedi a wo adwuma akrawani biwe enti otufo se choto so mienu asante hene kumase na nanom ahemfo Asanteman Council oyoko aboshan abusua ne asanteman asi wiase se odupon bi nyiri avre oyoko aboshan ama esenkesi aka abutu kokko anya kotoko hema anakuna du yi adomoto so miensa abrane man anatena yi adomadwa so hwe echi se asante hema emfie wotwe enti ohema akwankwaja ho hyehyeye ni ananom be prasra platform ama kotoko hema asi from Juada 15 September 2025 na ye jamno brada ukuada na yawada ene de twato ama omampanyini Ghana man ne amanone adehia hodo abema otufo ne asanteman yako na nanumre na asante ma ebeda sekum akobreman na asante mei tete hema wonim sika koramu bosombrafo osi so se de hye ene de akokọ abo amman moduafo epe ohye awura osrebu osachi osrebu akuampon akiributu kira brane asante ma anya atwansu asanteman se yeso ntene enso ya wi abo bukata ba kwa ye de bosompra panyini ne achem yiwaye ohema de mefadua apiafo.
So it's happening all of this week in Asanteman, hosted at Mesha Palace. The Asante Hene is hosting the burial of his queen mother, the Asante Hema, who passed at the advanced age of 90. And on Thursday, the final funeral rites will occur. Announcements have come from Kumasi and all arrangements are in touch. We see all the videos and all the photographs. I believe that on Thursday is a big day. Significant presence at Mesha would include President John Dramani Mahama, maybe the Vice President, former President John Ajekum Kufuor, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo would all be there to mourn with the Asante Man and the Asante Hene Otunfo Osei Tutu II. Later tonight on this program, the Galamsey issue is on the cards. The Catholic Bishops' Conference have said something about it. Dennis Miracles Abuaji, the Director of Communication, the Deputy Director of Communication of the New Patriotic Party, is here in the studio and he has a case. He says that he's built a dossier on Galamsey and he knows who is responsible for Galamsey. He'll come and join me on the touchscreen and show us from his dossier. We're going to be quizzing him and you can also quiz him as well if you can send your message to Good Evening Ghana Official when he starts, because we'll be taking the text messages. That's a big part of our show tonight. And then the bar conference conversations is divided into two. First, there would be the matter of the Bar Association clashing with the Attorney General. And then we have an insightful conversation about the Chief Justice's statement at the Bar Conference. The acting Chief Justice, His Lordship, Mr. Justice Bafuboni, speaking through his representative at the Ghana Bar Association, had very harsh remarks for the government relating to the government's responsibility around the Galamsey issue. We're going to bring that to you as well. That came as, it rocked quite a few nerves in many newsrooms, that the acting Chief Justice went as far as talking about Galamsey. He must be a man who is very passionate about the environment, and we'll be dealing with that as well before Miracles comes. Now, do you have the photographs of the touchscreen Akufo-Addo's, if they have the photographs, I'll just do that. Let's check whether they have the photographs, if they do. Okay, let me go and do the photographs of the touchscreen. Then we will continue with this is President Akufo-Addo today visited the home of Apostle Kojo Safo, as has many important and influential people so far. The book of condolence was signed. That's Apostle Kojo Safo's book of condolence. This is Akufo-Addo's team. I can see Lawyer Mesa, the former Minister for Tourism, Godfrey Damin, the former Attorney General, Dominic Nitiwul, the former Minister for Defense, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, the leader of the mighty minority, His Excellency President Akufo-Addo, Freema Opare, and Albert Kandapa. All of them were there to support Akufo-Addo to make his presentation. This was a famous speech which we're going to show to you in video. The 82-year-old man can actually pass for 61 or 57. God bless Nanado. What a life. Absolutely. We all want this kind of life, don't we? Oh, this is the venerable family mourning in tears. Kojo Safo, you can see him over there. I believe Ajua Safo is next to him, and then all the Safo children and relatives of Apostle Kojo Safo. This is Kojo Safo in a warm embrace with Chief of Staff with Akufo-Addo looking on, and Captain Koda also in the shot. A better photograph of Akufo-Addo's representation over here. You can see it clearer. Albert Kandapa, former Chief of Staff, Fremont Parry, His Excellency the former President Alexander Afenyo-Markin, Dominic Nitiwul, Godfrey Dame, and Lawyer Mesa, former Member of Parliament for Sekondi constituency. Here again, Sarah Ajua Safo, the former Member of Parliament and former Minister for Gender, Kojo Safo over there, and the family of the great apostle, all mourning and receiving mourners. Akufo-Addo, in your photograph here speaking. This is Apostle Kojo Safo himself. May he rest in peace. Some of the women greeted the Akufo-Addo entourage. And here's Ajua Safo in a warm handshake with President Akufo-Addo. There again, you have other family members shaking hands with President Akufo-Addo. This is a former Minister for Information, Fatima Abubakar, sitting with the Honorable Albert Kandapa. This is Asumeni, Edward Asumeni, the former National Security Coordinator, Gabi Ochiridako, I believe, over there as well. And this is Akufo-Addo's entourage that went to see Apostle Kojo Safo. Now, let's go to the videos and let's wrap it up quickly. Akufo-Addo had an interesting story to tell. But let's see the first video of the arrival. Yeah, so there's President Akufo-Addo getting out of his car, arriving at the event. Apostle Kojo Safo's home, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, and all the Akufo-Addo entourage. Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, 82. Can I say 82 looks good on him? Can I say that? Maybe. but as a former president, these days feeling very relaxed, watching how Ghana is playing out after his two-term presidency. Alexander Afenyo-Markin sitting next to him, and Dominic Nitiwul also there. This is Fatima Abubakar being welcomed by Akrobeto, the famous comedian and newscaster as well. This is Ben Asante, who used to be at the Ghana Gas. This is people in exchange of words. Did I say exchange of words? In conversation with each other. Dominic Nitiwul, Fatima Abubakar, welcoming the former Attorney General Godfrey Dame to the event. Yes, so that's Akufo-Addo's arrival. I believe that here, Fremont Parry stands up to respond to her name. Akufo-Addo quite sad. I think it dawned on him when he arrived there that his friend Kojo Safo had actually passed. Later on, Akufo-Addo spoke, and let's listen to the speech now.
Undergraduate from university. SMTT. It was about 40 years.
You're watching Galamsey TV.
Sir, Apostle Safo, Kojo Safo, Christo Safo. We name Asma. Sir, or per lawyer, or Ghana, it's only nam, and I wish here a lawyer for and the business of Abomidi at Son, to open one of the Dinkomo. Na Sabibi Mua, a zero wako boss, or pay Kojo Safo money, not the Beba. Ampa, Anche, and now, the Sir Quanso Beba in the office, you buy elsewhere. Opinion 10 gram fair and then they do a cheap. Higher Crystal Asafo penny apostles. Now, we take some of can share.
You're watching Galamsey TV.
Anyway, Miss Officer, me and a lawyer. If you saw listen there. Did you buy it? If you saw Brenna Bessin, the coupon friend, millions and some Bonibia. In term basa bia and where she cry and check and on the bar. Such a university undergraduate from university. I draw a small man So also yellow is me financial miss man searching. Let me find a baby. If you saw no benno, say ya and answer. It is the abbe, me can't be pa. And which is so. Amayo cool somebody, Bema, a picture MPP as you know.
You're watching Dad's TV.
Stay day, every boy, in a Husampa, in the opening, can see it, and all dinner, and a whole day about the tie. It's you. Could you suffer me, Bibi America? And he said, Medin Uncle say, Oma, Ebem said, Menin so, Ebe, Namfo. And the share, and baby all consider we see a bedroom wow too. Then it's many men paying for by year. About say about the chair, the year in the man in the bush and Yamamuyako, Mukusa, Ghana, Penny, Pa, Wafrimu, Inland, Yakri idea. Unyakopon and Tessa and Ocean the man in the BB and the BB Benamasa, Unyakopon and
10 minutes to the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. That was Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo attending Apostle Kojo Safo. Now let's get to the big controversial issue. There was a bar conference on Monday, and the bar president here, Mrs. Abuaji, and the Attorney General here, Dominic Ahini, clashed and locked horns at the bar conference over matters of Article 146. Now, the Attorney General spoke first, I believe, and he was concerned that the bar is raising issues about the Article 146 process that removed Gertrude Tokonu, and that he thought that they are being self-serving. That was the word he used, very harsh. And he also thought that they are being selective because, according to the Attorney General, when Article 146 processes were applied against the former Shraj boss, Lamte, I forget her first name, and is it Matilda? Something Lamte. And it was also applied against Charlotte Osei in 2017. He, the Attorney General, says he doesn't remember the bar making any statements about it. He wonders why, therefore, that Article 146 is being applied again against Gertrude Tokonu, and it becomes a problem. So that was what he said. But there was a lot more infighting and controversy about the bar conference. After the Attorney General spoke, he left. He didn't continue to sit at the bar conference. He left. We don't know what to make of it. We don't know what we should say. It suggests that he was quite angry, or there's bad blood, or there's concern about difficulties in relationship between the learned Attorney General, who is the leader of the bar, and the Ghana Bar Association, which is led by Abuaji. We'll dig into that and give you some more information. But all the lawyers said that after that Attorney General left, which is unprecedented, is sufficiently uncharacteristic. But we don't know why the Attorney General left. He may have had a very good reason for doing so. But he left the bar conference. And Abuaji and the rest are still continuing. It's a 1 week long activity. So they are still in Wa doing the bar conference. Let's begin with what the Attorney General said. This is what he said.
Immediately upon assuming office in 2017, an Article 146 petition was filed for a removal of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Charlotte Osei, and her deputies from office. The bar saw no basis to speak out about compliance with due process. But in recent times, the bar found its voice when petitions based upon the same constitutionally defined procedures were brought in respect of the removal from office of the former Chief Justice, Mrs. Gertrude Tokonu. Ladies and gentlemen, the honest question we have to ask ourselves is, what changed? The three petitions aforementioned touch and concern office holders of three constitutional bodies critical to the sustenance of our democracy. The independence of the three institutions has been guaranteed by the Constitution. The three occupants were all women of significant repute and members of our noble profession. The three committees established pursuant to Article 146 complied with the constitutional procedure to the letter. And yet, the bar found its voice only in relation to the third petition. Coincidentally, the voice of the bar amplified the voice of the opposition. The lawyer in politics must be a voice of reason, moderation, and constitutionalism. The bar must speak out not to please governments or opposition parties, but to defend the rule of law, the independence of the judiciary, and the rights of the ordinary citizen.
The learned Attorney General said that the Bar Association, I'm not sure whether the learned Attorney General at the time he read his speech was aware that the Bar President was going to talk about the what the Bar considers unfair in the processes that removed Gertrude Torkornoo. But let's listen to what the Bar President said. Here it is.
The Constitution of the Ghana Bar Association enjoins us to protect the independence of the judiciary. This is a duty the association does not take lightly, and from time immemorial, the bar has fiercely performed this duty. My learned friends, we are all aware that Article 146 of our 1992 Constitution has come under severe scrutiny in recent times. For the first time under the Fourth Republic, it's been evoked in respect of a Chief Justice. The position of the bar must be stated clearly in this regard. The bar recognizes the fact that the power of removal can be exercised under Article 146. But the bar's major concern relates to the process. In the absence of specific rules of procedure, the sketchy process potentially lends itself to arbitrariness and a lack of fairness. Hence the bar's resolution on the matter, which was as follows. The Ghana Bar Association hereby also calls for the immediate enactment of clear and comprehensive regulations relating to matters under Article 146 of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana to ensure transparency, accountability, and fairness in all proceedings involving Superior Court justice, particularly in the context of the impeachment or removal of such officers. This resolution was passed and publicized by 30th April 2025. However, no rules were produced. It is commonly said that justice should not only be done, but manifestly be seen to have been done. The lack of an enactment for such rules in the case of the removal of the fourth highest person in the nation should be a matter of concern for all of us. These rules should have been known to all and sundry before the commencement of the process, as it greatly affects the standard to be met. It ends up being an unfortunate precedent which lacks fairness, a situation that calls for redress, if indeed we are custodians of justice. We all deserve justice, from the well-endowed in society to the less endowed, from those who wield political power to those who don't, from those who have economic power and those who don't, from those who dispense justice to those who receive justice.
So the Bar President actually read a resolution from the entire members of the Ghana Bar Association, and therefore the criticisms of the Attorney General should be looked at as criticizing the Bar, of which the Attorney General is a leader. There's a lot more to say about that, but if you have some information on why the Attorney General left the Bar Conference after giving his speech, which we are told by lawyers is unprecedented, you can tell us, because the lawyers are still at the Bar Conference, some of them may be watching, you can tell us why, if you have that information. Apparently the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Remsai, was not seen at the Bar Conference at all. Let's now get to the bench, because the Bar Conference are members of the Ghana Bar Association. Justice Yoni Kulendi was at the Bar Conference. Oh, can I? Yes, Justice Yoni Kulendi was at the Bar Conference, and there was also other judges. I believe this was a judge that represented the Chief Justice. This is Justice Gabriel Scott Poamang, and this is Justice Jamefe, Supreme Court judge, my lady, who attended the Bar Conference. for Justice Bafo-Boni. Now, yeah, there she is. She attended the bar conference. She represented the Chief Justice at the bar conference. Now, there's a bit of gossip around this conversation. I'm going to share with you. Justice Bafo-Boni is the acting Chief Justice. Yeah. Recently, he traveled and... no, certainly not. Please. Please. Okay, this is Justice Bafo-Boni, who is the acting Chief Justice. Your Lordship, good evening. Now, Justice Bafo-Boni is an acting Chief Justice. He recently issued a public notice that he was traveling and that he will be replaced by Justice Gabriel Poamang, who was the next senior most. This is the letter that said so. They put it out like this. Okay, now this is the letter that says so. So the letter says that away from duty, it's 13th August 2025. It says, I shall be away from the jurisdiction from Monday 18th August to Thursday 28th August 2025. I am, in my absence, the most senior justice of the Supreme Court. His Lordship Justice Gabriel Poamang will act. Please accept my compliments, etc., etc. Justice Paul Bafo-Boni, acting Chief Justice. So Justice Bafo-Boni sent us this letter, general public. Now, yesterday, he was not able to attend the bar conference. It would have been easy if Justice Scott Gabriel Poamang was representing him and reading his speech at the bar conference. Every bar conference, the Lord Chief Justice speaks. So we all knew that the Chief Justice was going to speak, and we wait for what he's going to say. So Justice Bafo-Boni did not attend the bar conference, and he did not send Justice Gabriel Poamang to attend the bar conference. He sent the lady Supreme Court judge, who, according to the pagan order, is the junior most Supreme Court judge. She's the one who was sent to represent the Chief Justice at the bar conference. Justice Yoni Kulendi, a fairly senior Supreme Court judge, was at the bar conference, but he was not asked to represent Justice Bafo-Boni, the acting Chief Justice. There's a bit of gossip that lawyers are having this conversation around that. But why didn't the Chief Justice send one of the senior? Why did he send the young the Supreme Court judge, this lady who went in there to represent the Chief Justice? Now, my lady, good evening. Now, the video here will confirm that she represented the Chief Justice. Let's just watch the video to confirm that she did, and then we come back and finish up the analysis. This is what she said.
I bring you warm greetings from His Lordship, Justice Paul Bafo-Boni, Acting Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. His Lordship is unable to be here in person due to other pressing engagements, so he has delegated me to read his address today.
That's Justice Hafisata Amali Boba, her ladyship Supreme Court judge, who represented Justice Bafo-Boni. So viewers, you get the drift of the matter. Justice Bafo-Boni is the acting Chief Justice based on the fact that he's the most senior most. In fact, there's a bit of jurisprudential conversation about this, whether the letter that Justice Bafo-Boni wrote for Justice Gabriel Poamang was valid, because Justice Bafo-Boni is acting Chief Justice under a constitutional provision. The 1992 Constitution provides that where the Chief Justice is unable to perform his or her functions, the next senior most judge will replace him. That's where the Constitution ends. The Constitution does not proceed to say that if that next senior most judge is also not able to perform his function, it should be the next. We can presume it, but the Constitution really doesn't say that. And so Justice Bafo-Boni handing over to Justice Gabriel Scott Poamang was debated in legal corridors whether it's a proper thing to do. You know, they are constitutional purists, and they like to talk about these things, and I won't mention their names, but you know some of them. They are constitutional purists. So that's a different matter, but that conversation was had. Now, though, Justice Bafo-Boni then sends Justice Hafisata Amali Boba to the bar conference to represent him. So Justice Yoni Kulendi is at the bar conference. He doesn't get to represent the Chief Justice, even though he's senior on the Supreme Court, as far as the Supreme Court is concerned, to Justice Yoni Kulendi. He's senior to Justice Amali Boba. Somehow, Justice Amali Boba is the one speaking for the Chief Justice. And what did the Chief Justice say? The Chief Justice drops a bombshell, which is a big part of our program tonight, about Galamsey. He had very harsh words for the government about Galamsey. Now, where is it coming from? It's evolving from the president's press conference, and I really don't know what the communication people at the presidency are feeling about this press conference, because before the president's press conference, there was not much pressure on the government about Galamsey. After the president's press conference, based on the answers the president gave, all hell has broken loose pressure on the government about Galamsey. So I'm not sure how they are taking this, whether they should have done the press conference or they should have left it. Anyway, that's a conversation for another day. So let's see what Justice Bafuboni told the world at the bar conference through Justice Amali Boba. Let's see some of the slides. One of them is this. This one is very serious. It says, Justice Bafuboni, speaking at the bar conference, says, how did we get here as a nation to allow a few selfish and greedy individuals connected to power and influence in society hold the entire nation and its future to ransom for their benefits? That's very strong. Now, I should have told my people to get a video of President Mahama answering. If you can quickly get that, it's important. President Mahama answering the conversation. I don't know whether it's going to be part of Miracles' presentation, but if you have the video, let's signal me when you have it. Okay, let's see what President Mahama said. Before then, though, what's the... no, if you have the video, let's get it. I mean, use it. Check whether you have it. Now, what did President Mahama say? What happened at the event? He was asked a question by Joy FM's Koje Yankson, who asked him that, your gold board, do they know what gold they are buying? Are they buying Galamsey gold or they are buying this? President Mahama's conversation was that a state of emergency is a last resort issue. You cannot do a state of emergency because it has major economic implications. He also said that there are 4 million people working on Galamsey, that if you stop Galamsey today, what are the 4 million people going to do? President Mahama was attacked on Facebook. Many people said that, what is he talking about? Does he mean that, what about armed robbers? If they catch armed robbers, are we going to say that they are doing armed robbery? And they are doing armed robbery because we don't have a job for them. President Mahama said that we should create something for them and then we can ease them off Galamsey. So questions were being asked. Galamsey is an offense. It's a crime. It's a criminal activity. Are you free to pursue a criminal activity because you have finished school and you are unemployed? Are you free to pursue any criminal activity because you're a young man and you're unemployed? These are the questions people were asking President Mahama, that if you say that the Galamsey people, we should find something for them before they move. The Galamsey that they are committing, destroying water bodies. I heard something very frightening, that the Volta Lake is also being affected by the same illegal activity of mining in forest areas and mining on water bodies. So this became a big deal. Just for recap, this is what President Mahama told the media last week. Just for recap, this is what he said.
I never expected, or I never deluded myself that the fight against illegal gold mining or Galamsey was going to be an event. The Gold Board was introduced as part of reforms. And if the Gold Board was not introduced, I mean, those who were taking the profits from the small-scale mining sector were the foreign traders who were taking that money away. In 6 months, we have exported over $6 billion. About $4 billion of that money was going to go into the private or foreign traders. And so the first thing is you shut the stable door so that the horse doesn't escape, which is what we've done. So if it's from illegal sources, it's from legal sources. At least it's our land that is being destroyed. So let us get the benefit of it instead of foreign traders. So that's the first thing. I've been reluctant to implement a state of emergency in the Galamsey fight because we've not exhausted the powers we even have without a state of emergency. We have the opportunity to arrest anybody, to confiscate any such thing. There are laws for forest protection and all that give us enough powers to be able to act. Implementing a state of emergency might sound nice, but it should be the last extreme, the last resort. So for now, let's exercise all the powers we have. And if it becomes necessary for a state of emergency, then we'll look at it. It means we have to go to Parliament. The President can't just declare a state of emergency without, going to Parliament, because there's a limit to how long you can maintain that state of emergency. And so I believe that we still have leverage to continue to fight Galamsey without necessarily implementing a state of emergency. It means that we have to delineate the areas where the state of emergency is operational. And if you look at the area where Galamsey is taking place, it covers several districts of our country. And so we would do it if it becomes necessary. But for now, I think that we've given the security services enough powers to be able to deal with people who are found to be involved in Galamsey.
So that's what happened, just to recap. And people have said, and that's part, you see, Miracles Abuaji is in the studio this evening because he says that there's a lot more to the Galamsey that we are not seeing. That is something that he has seen it a long time, but now he has the evidence to share with us. Imagine that what President Mahama said, really, from coming from a president, it shouldn't be a problem. It's a state of emergency, it's a last resort, blah, blah, blah. But imagine if this had been said by Akufo-Addo in 2024, June 2024, and Akufo-Addo had a press conference and said that I cannot declare state of emergency, that the people are working on the Galamsey, at least it's our land they are destroying, so let's take the money. If Akufo-Addo had said this in June 2024, imagine what would have happened. So that's part of the reason why this has become a problem. It's not so much that what he said is a problem. Oh. It is because of what was said before. Again, just for recap, this is some of what was said before. Have a look at the video.
A ban on all forms of mining. We want a state of emergency.
Declare a state of emergency.
Just as we declared lockdown during COVID, let there be a certain declaration.
Yes, I think that national emergency be declared now.
And it is his responsibility to deal with Galamsey now.
I get very passionate when I talk about Galamsey issues because I think the president has failed. And this is not politics. This is about leadership.
All these key actors, some of them members of parliament, but all of them cabinet ministers. Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, foreign minister. Emmanuel Kofi-Boa, lands minister. He's actually the minister responsible for this. His view in opposition was that they declare state of emergency. The view in government of the president is different. Then you have Sam Nate George, minister for communication. His view was declare state of emergency. Idrisu Haruna is minister for education today, and he was minority leader before, member of parliament for Tamale Central, Tamale South. He said, declare state of emergency. So this is why, it's because of this history that President Mahama's statements at the press conference is coming up for all kinds of news, even hitting the global news desk as what is happening in Ghana about Galamsey. So when Justice Bafuboni said, and we have a few of these slides tonight, he said, how did we get here as a nation to allow a few selfish and greedy individuals connected to power and influence in society hold the entire nation and its future to ransom for their benefits? That's Justice Bafuboni, the acting Chief Justice, who said this at the bar conference. Is there another one from Bafuboni? Okay. Oh, okay. I should slide it. I'll see it. All right. This is Bafuboni again from the bar conference. He says, Galamsey has become worse. The time to act is now. There was another slide compared with he and Felix. Is it coming? Okay. No, Felix said something about, oh, that one was not correct. Okay. Now, another Galamsey one, it says, how did we get here? Oh, this is what we've already done. Connected to powerful individuals. Is there another one? Okay, so there are two Bafuboni. I thought there would be more. Okay. This one and then this one. Galamsey has become worse. The time to act is now. So the acting Chief Justice to the government said that Galamsey has become worse. Is it true that Galamsey has become worse? I don't know. But if you follow Erastus Asaredonko of Joy FM, he seems to share the view that Galamsey has become worse, that people are breezily participating in it on the altar of being party chairman this friend, party that friend, minister this friend. And that is why Bafuboni is saying that it has to do with people who are connected, to government. Kweku Ansasari also said something that I should have used earlier. The Attorney General's statement on the bar being an appendage of political parties is unfortunate. Kweku Ansasari does not agree with Dominic Ayini in saying that the bar is an appendage of political parties. Now, you know that Kweku Ansasari supported the removal of Justice Tokono. He did. But he's here saying, relating to what happened at the bar conference in terms of the clash, he's on the side of the Ghana Bar Association. He is not on the side of the Attorney General. Even though he's on the side of those who believe that Tokono should be removed, he believes that. But he doesn't think that the bar president is right. Now, so this, the Lord Chief Justice says that it is greedy individuals who are connected to power and influence. And that's what sometimes Erastus has been reporting on. That you find that they say somebody here, somebody there. Anyway, Miracles is coming with the details of that and we'll get it. So Justice Bafuboni did not attend the bar event. He is in pole position to be named as Chief Justice. Now this is another gist. I don't know how. Producer, maybe make this another video. Justice Bafuboni did not attend the bar conference. He is in pole position to become the next Chief Justice. There are rumors that he may not become the next Chief Justice, that Justice Amadou Tanko may be given the job, or Justice Kulendi may be given the job. Some people also, this is Justice Kulendi here, I don't know whether they have Justice Amadou Tanko. We've done that story before. That Justice Amadou Tanko and Justice Kolendi are looking to get the job as well. And then Justice Gabriel Poaman, a new lobby, is beginning to talk about Justice Gabriel Poaman. Some people are also saying that because Justice Tokonu is a woman, please replace with a woman. Now, in the midst of all of these rumors, let me have Bafoboni back, please. In the midst of all of these rumors, Justice Bafoboni comes out to make scathing remarks about the government, something that the government doesn't want a Chief Justice to say at a bar conference. Certainly, if I'm the President of Ghana under the NDC administration, if I'm the Attorney General, if I'm a minister in the government, I don't want the Chief Justice to make these statements, brazen statements against Galamsey 1 week after the President spoke about it at the bar conference. And that's exactly what Justice Bafoboni did. He dropped the bullets right there at the bar conference. How does this leave the next few pages that we are writing over who becomes the next Chief Justice? So there are many views on the matter. Some say that Justice Bafoboni is doing that so that the Ghanaian public will know that he stands for the environment and he stands with the people. He stands for clean water. He doesn't worry about politics. He doesn't care whether what he's saying is going to offend those who have the power to make him a substantial Chief Justice or not. He's stating it for posterity and that he is the hero. There are others who are saying that Justice Bafoboni is playing himself into the hearts of Ghanaians so that it will be difficult for the government to overlook him in putting him out. Because if now the government comes tomorrow and announces that President Mahama has nominated Justice Amadou Tanko, or President Mahama has nominated Justice Yoni Kulendi, and has sent the names to the Speaker for the Parliament's Appointments Committee hearings, people might say that, but why didn't they give it to Bafoboni? It's because he spoke against them on the Galamsey thing. Hey, these NDC people, they are bad, oh. Because the guy spoke against them for everything that has been done, because he spoke against them, they decided that they won't give him the job. Some people think that is what is happening, but we are watching the space very carefully. But we have to congratulate Justice Bafoboni for standing his ground and making the statements that many Ghanaians believe. Many Ghanaians believe that, let me have the Galamsey thing again. Many Ghanaians believe that this Galamsey problem, far from being an Akufo-Addo problem, far from being a problem that should get MPP out of office, it is actually a problem that has now become a matter of how selfish and greedy individuals connected to power and influence in society hold the entire nation and its future to ransom for their benefits. That's what Galamsey is. Galamsey is about power. Galamsey is about how political parties manage it. Anyway, let's get to the Catholic Bishops' Conference. We'll take text messages and come straight to Miracles on the touchscreen, who's going to give us a lot of information. Now, the Catholic Bishops' Conference also have something to say about Galamsey. They have been very consistent on Galamsey. They were consistent with Akufo-Addo. They are consistent now. Because of what President Mahama said, they came out and this is what they said. Dearly beloved in Christ and fellow citizens of Ghana, grace, mercy, and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ be with you. As shepherds of the church and moral custodians of our nation, we cannot be silent before a calamity that imperils both the integrity of God's creation and the dignity of his people. Illegal and unregulated mining, commonly known as Galamsey, has become one of the gravest afflictions of our time. It ravages our rivers and forests, poisons our soil, endangers public health, corrupts governance, erodes our moral fiber, and extinguishes livelihood. This is not a routine challenge to be managed with half measure. It is a national emergency requiring decisive, extraordinary response. From the dawn of creation, humanity was entrusted with stewardship of the earth. Scripture declares, okay, they mentioned the scripture. This vocation of care is not a license for reckless exploitation, but a sacred trust for the common good. Yet our rivers, forests, and farmlands now bear witness to a profound betrayal of this mandate. The Pra, Ankobra, Birim, Ofin, Ayensu, and other once pristine rivers are now laced with mercury and toxic effluents. Some have ceased to flow downstream, while others, like Ayensu, show turbidity levels so extreme as 32,000 NTU compared to the Ghana Water Company's maximum treatment threshold of 2,500 NTU. That they defy purification. Once verdant forests lie stripped to barren scars, while fertile farmlands are rendered sterile, punctured by deadly pits. The earth is the Lord's and all that is in it. That's Psalm 24 verse 1. To desecrate creation through Galamsey is not only an offense against neighbor, it is a grave sin against God himself, the creator and owner of all. The consequences are dire. Farmers can no longer trust the land to sustain their families, and our capacity to feed the nation diminishes. The Ghana Water Company strains at great cost to render water barely potable, yet traces of mercury, arsenic, cyanide, and chlorine persist in what is supplied. Children, seduced by the mirage of quick riches, forsake school for perilous pits, losing their lives in collapses that are both tragic and preventable. The poisons of mining seep silently into our food chain, breeding cancers, skin diseases, kidney failure, and neurological disorders. Pope Francis in Laudato admonishes us with the prophetic clarity, quote, "The earth herself, burdened and laid waste, is among the most abandoned and maltreated of our poor. She groans in travail." But the rot is not only ecological. Galamsey has become a cancer in our national soul. It corrodes politics, corrodes governance, and corrodes conscience. Disturbingly, some politicians, members of parliament, municipal and district chief executives, chiefs, religious figures, and even members of our security services have been implicated, shielding illegal operators for personal gain, granting illicit concessions, or remaining silent when the duty demands bold speech. This betrayal of trust cuts to the very marrow of our national identity. We call such leaders to repentance now. Okay, let me get to the place. Yet in the face of this, the President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, appears not to grasp with the existential scale of the menace. In both January and May 2025, delegations of our conference raised these concerns directly with him, only to be met with unsatisfactory responses focused narrowly on economic gain. At his Meet the Press session of 10 September 2025, he dismissed call for a state of emergency. This is profoundly troubling. The hour is late. Delay is betrayal. Now, not tomorrow, not later, is the time to act. We therefore urge the President and his government to declare, without hesitation, a state of emergency in the most affected mining zones and around endangered water bodies. Such a declaration would empower extraordinary interventions, curfews in volatile areas, the securing of devastated lands, the dismantling of entrenched criminal syndicates, and the halting of corrupt administrative complicities. The scale of the crisis justifies nothing else. But we stress, a declaration, while urgent, is insufficient. Ghana requires a holistic, integrated national strategy. Laws governing mining must be revised, sharpened, and rigorously enforced, with stiffer penalties for offenders. Specialized courts should be established to expedite prosecution. A permanent, well-resourced, and corruption-proof task force must be constituted, comprising security services, environmental experts, and local authority to ensure consistent enforcement beyond transit crackdowns, etc., etc., etc. So that's the Catholic Bishops' Conference. They say that they have met the president twice already. And the president gave them answers that were not satisfactory. And they saw some of those answers in the press conference of the president on 10 September. They're asking now that immediately that be done. They did not issue any threats about what they would do if the Galamsey thing is not done. But this is where we are. That's the state of affairs. That is the Galamsey story, and that's the Chief Justice story. We're now going to have a listen to our text message, and then I'll be inviting Miracles Abuaji to the touchscreen to walk us through what evidence he gathered about Galamsey. So over to you, Fatih. What are people saying?
Right. Thank you, Paul. So we have messages from Ghana, and this person is trying to say, Nanado wasn't forced to declare state of emergency at his first term. It was after he failed and allowed his cohorts to continue to engage in Galamsey. That's why everybody was on them to declare state of emergency. Coming from Efuayebwa, she says Galamsey has exposed the NDC government. Chief Manosei also comes with a message that says, this Mahama's government's cosmetic approach to fighting Galamsey is a total scam, and whoever trusts Mahama on Galamsey issues must be living in Chipta or Pluto. Say no to tongue leaders. Schiffman comes back to say, did I hear the AG saying that the voice of the bar is the voice of the opposition? Interesting. Indeed, when the ghost wants to kill you, they first make you mad. African problem. I love this. The NDC is really Ghana's problem. Savali Kelvin also says double standard in opposition. You were calling for a state of emergency and now you are running away from it. Interesting. Saeed Countryman also says, even if Bafoboni and the NDC comes to say Justice Hafi Sata represented the acting CJ because she is from the Upper West region, where the bar conference is taking place for the first time in 149 years, will remind them that Uni Kulendi, a senior at the bench and fellow contended for the Chief Justice, is also from the Upper West region. Bafobani is doing away with all competition, no sleep for the wicked. Savali also says karma is catching up with them in their fight against Galamsey. When they were in opposition, they were forcing the government to declare a state of emergency, and now they are in power and they're trying to run away from it. Lastly, coming from Schiffman, he says Asantema mourns our departed Queen Mother, and may the good Lord console the Otumfo and the Asante Paramount Chiefs. Asante, your man. Now back to you, Paul.
Okay, we are ready with Miracles. Let's take a 5 minutes break, our second break. And when we come back, Miracles Abuaji Dennis is in the studio. He says he has the full story on Galamsey from Alpha to Omega. We'll be right back.
Good afternoon, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, current President of Ghana. On the 17th of October 2024, you said to the then President of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, that it is your responsibility to deal with Galamsey now and not mine, because you are just a political leader and not the Commander-in-Chief of Ghana. And this is exactly what you said at Ningo Prampram.
As Sam George said, President Akufo-Addo said I should come out clearly on Galamsey. It looks like he doesn't live in this country, because I've commented on Galamsey over and over again. The Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources gave political leaders the platform to outline their policy on small-scale mining. And for a whole hour, I outlined our policy. After that, there was questions and answers for 2 hours. We're there for 3 hours. So he should just tell his Flagstaff House media to get him the tape of what I said at the University of Energy and Natural Resources. Recently, when I met the clergymen, the Christian community, a part of my speech and the questions and answers was again on Galamsey and small-scale mining. And so, I mean, there's a lot that I've said. It is his responsibility. The people of Ghana elected him. He is currently the president of Ghana. And it is his responsibility to deal with Galamsey now. I know that after 7 January 2025, when Ghanaians have voted for me, I will take that responsibility and we will sort out illegal mining.
Thank you for your words so sweet, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. 7 December, Ghanaians voted massively for you. So in today, 2025, you are the President of Ghana, the Commander-in-Chief. So you don't need to go, you are no longer required to go and comment on how to solve.
All right, welcome back to the show. Let's get onto the touchscreen now and find out from Miracles Abuaji what he has. Wafa Dennis, good evening.
Good evening, Paulus.
What do you know about Galamsey that we don't know?
I think there's been we find ourselves in a situation where if we don't set up, the president we have now may throw the entire country into serious crisis.
President Mahama?
Yes, because he's given one of the responses that no president over the period has ever said. He's giving the most lackadaisical response to the issue of Galamsey since we saw this kind of Galamsey from the Atamil's time. First of all, you played the video. His response to Kojo Yangson's, question and the issue of where the money is coming from, whether illegal or whatever, is Ghanaian money.
But the reasons he gave,
it's a big problem. Paul, you see, it's a big problem because the Galamsey menace is a very serious situation that requires one urgency and seriousness without compromise. So you see, it cannot be negotiated. And so when you get that kind of response from the president, then we are all worried. And that's why this evening we are having the conversation. The president, in his responses to Kojo during the media engagement, I think forgot that he's a president and thought he was in opposition. He lied. He sought to create the impression.
But hold on, the reasons that President Mahama gave for not being able to declare state of emergency, is that not, could they not be the same reasons why Akufo-Addo was unable to do it?
Well, you see, the fact of the matter is that you cannot support a cause and come later and change your course. Akufo-Addo did not call for the state of emergency. He was voted out of office. Remember, at the time the call for emergency was coming, he didn't budge. And you and your political party, you've played several videos, actually supported the call.
Yeah.
What it means is that the Ghanaian voter clearly believed in that call and so voted for you.
And made a choice.
Exactly. So once you come...
That I prefer those who declare state of emergency
absolutely.
to those who are not even saying anything
absolutely.
about it.
So you see, Akufo-Addo doesn't come into today's conversation. In fact, he doesn't matter. He's done his bit. He's gone. The country faces a crisis during your time. Don't forget, Paul, before John Mahama, His Excellency, and his team came to office, they created the impression as if Akufo-Addo, his family, and his government people were the ones doing Galamsey. In fact, I will show you evidence that points to the fact that they claim that immediately Akufo-Addo and his people go out of office, Galamsey will stop. And that's a worry. And this evening, you see, we're having this conversation because I'm on the view, if we don't put the Galamsey conversation into proper perspective, the government will gaslight the entire country. And by the time we realize we are in that situation, Paul, you see, the situation in the last 9 months has escalated.
Is that true?
That is the fact.
Felix Kwachio-Fosu says he wants evidence of that.
Forget Felix.
Why?
The
government communications.
The Trade Union Congress told the president to his face on May Day.
Yes,
the Chief Justice has spoken.
Yes.
The Water Resources Commission has indicated that the turbidity levels in our water
has increased.
Please.
Okay, that's sufficient evidence.
We have serious.
Once the turbidity levels have gone
a serious situation. But let's deal with the issues as we have it. First of all, I want us to answer a few questions. Is it true that Galamsey started during the Akufo-Addo era?
Did anyone say that?
Yes, the president responded. He said, you see, the level of damage that we've seen in the last 8 years, and this is a spin that the NDC and the president have been putting to the Galamsey issue since their days in opposition. To the extent that, think about this, an 18-year-old person in 2024 who was going to cast his vote actually believed that Galamsey started during the Akufo-Addo era. Because at the time, Galamsey truly started.
Even when we're children.
No, but at the time,
call something Galamsey.
At the time Galamsey truly started, this 18-year-old was probably 10 years or...
No, even before he was born. Galamsey has been going on for 30 years.
But go and talk to the 22-year-olds.
They believe Akufo-Addo brought it.
Because there was a spin. And that is why in the president's response, he still created the impression as if it's an 8-year problem. So is it the case? Okay. Number two.
Show us how.
Number two, you see, you mentioned Galamsey has been an age-long thing. We've always lived with it. It's always been a, they go to the gold fields, they pick their ways.
Part of that.
And then they try to mine from it and all of that. But the type of Galamsey we are seeing today started between 2010 and 2011. The kind of Galamsey on the river bodies and the forests and the reserves started in 2010, 2011. That is when it went haywire. So we used to have Galamsey even from the colonial era.
Yes.
You remember the Sikasunsum movie?
Yes.
So it's an age-long thing. But you see, they did not go into the river bodies. They were not in the forest reserves. They were doing earth. So you remember when we were kids, you will hear some people have died from Galamsey. And they dig pits and enter the pit and all of that. But the kind of Galamsey we are seeing today, the ones on the river bodies, started between 2010 and 2011. And this is a video.
When President Mahama was president.
Yes, there's a video.
Let's watch the video. Let's see the video. How do we know that this video is a 2010 video?
Oh, no. I mean, Atamos will speak.
Okay.
Professor Amos will speak.
Are we going to hear the sound?
There's murky brown. The shorelines are scarred. Cocoa plantations crushed by the heavy machinery that is dragged across them.
This is a kind of distraction that we see in the society.
You see, one Professor Enin and
Galamsey rather seriously. Let's see how we can solve that problem, because this is a clear indication of some of the effects, yes, of Galamsey.
Far from being tackled, Galamsey is now so widespread. Miners are moving onto the river itself. Strange new boats are appearing that can suck up silt from the riverbed, sidestepping the need to dig pits along the river banks. But the constant churning has turned once pristine waters murky brown. The shorelines are scarred. Cocoa plantations crushed by the heavy machinery that is dragged across them.
This is a kind of distraction that we see in the...
Oh, let me take you
on a nice video.
Yes, let me take you on a journey. And I really want you to pay very close attention to this. A lot of us, a lot of young people have lived in the past 8 years believing and thinking that before Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, we didn't have Galamsey in this manner. And the president actually repeated it in his engagement. That, in the last 8 years...
But he was vice president when this happened.
You heard Anas in this video actually describe how bad our water bodies had become as far back as 2010, 2011. And the video you watched was at a time when the president now was a vice president. And go and read all the headlines between 2010 and 2016. The headlines then are no different from the headlines between 2017 and 2024. Indeed, there is an improvement, and I'll show you. So this is a 2010 headline. 10 Galamsey operators buried alive, 9th April 2010. 18th March 2010, stop Galamsey now. 17th July 2010, another Galamsey tragedy, 12 trapped to death. Floods, males angered by harmful effects of Galamsey, 25th July 2011. All these headlines, I'm sure if I cover the dates, you may think they are 2017, 2018, 2019.
300 people died of
300
Galamsey
people died of Galamsey in 2011. But if I cover these dates and I cover this, you may think this is a 2017, 2020 headline. Yeah. But this is evidence to show you that the Galamsey situation that John Mahama, His Excellency, and his party spanned for 8 years as an Akufo-Addo creation is something that we can easily, with evidence, indicate that they created it. And that is not without debate. It is without argument.
They created it is
when I say they created, I am simply saying if they say that Akufo-Addo created Galamsey
because it was happening in his time, then with the same token.
In fact, they cannot even bring it towards Akufo-Addo. Because you see, it was as a result of this situation that even Ofosu Ampofo in 2011 was crying over how the courts were not helping the fight against Galamsey. This is a report in 2010, 2011. And it says that area of Galamsey has more than tripled from 2011 to 2015, from 10,907 hectares to 36,696 hectares. 2011 to 2015.
That's very curious for President Mahama, because he was president from 13 to 15.
Exactly. Galamsey is affecting major rivers. In 2013, an estimated area of 551,496 hectares was affected by Galamsey pollution. In 2015 alone, Galamsey encroached into at least 603 hectares of protected forest reserves. I am making a case, and I'll show you something. So this is again a story from 2010. Then Professor Mills spoke, the video we've just played. Now, in 2013, when John Mahama, His Excellency, took office, because he was vice president at the time when the new form of Galamsey we are seeing today had popped up, he had to take action. So he set up a task force. The task force responsibility was to clear everybody engaged in illegal mining and make sure that they clear the forest reserves.
Now let's read it. President Mahama says what? President Mahama sets up interministerial task force with a mandate to arrest and prosecute both local and foreign illegal miners and to adopt and to deport foreigners. Excavators were burnt, and foreigners were deported. Excavators were burnt in John Mahama time.
In 2013.
Was not the first person to burn excavators.
John Mahama is the one who started burning excavators in this country.
But you are right again. If we cover this,
you would think it's a 2020.
If I put 2025 there, it's fine. It
exactly.
Works.
You understand? And this is
but
what
this is a revelation even to me as a news reporter.
This is what they did to us.
The burning of excavators.
This is what they did to us. So you see, they led the entire country to think that Akufo-Addo, and I'll tell you the contradictions, and the reason why I think John Mahama is the biggest enabler of Galamsey. Now, follow this. After he set up the committee, led by Yunus Hussein, who was then Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Mahama Yariga, now Majority Leader, was the Environment Minister. Mahama Yariga said that they should give up. I mean, these are all headlines from 2013, 2014. But Mahama Yariga now comes back and says that they should give up on the fight against illegal mining.
Minister
gives up on fighting illegal mining once new approach. This is what he said. He said, this is Mahama Yariga. I called Minerals Commission. I called EPA. I called all the stakeholders and I said, look, it looks as if we cannot stop them from mining. So why don't we help them to mine properly so that we avoid the pollution, he said. Now, if you go and read all the reports and actions taken by the task force, which was headed by Yunus Hussein, you'd realize that the actions were exactly what is being done now. Go to the forest area, find Galamseyers, arrest them, burn the excavators, take the foreigners, take them to the airport, get them to their countries, they come back again. The same modus, the same strategy, the same approach. So Mahama failed at the fight against Galamsey between 2013 and 2016. And if you remember, in the last quarter...
That's your clear verdict?
Yeah, no, but that's exactly what happened. Not me.
I mean, the minister gave up?
Yeah, it's not me. Okay. The minister gave up.
Okay.
The minister
but
gave
that's
up.
interesting because that's 15 September 2016.
Yes.
That's towards the end.
Yes.
3 months more. He says we are done.
He said we are done. We can't do. And this is after they had burnt excavators. This is after they had arrested people. This is after they had done all manner of things. Then, in 2016, in the last quarter of the elections, Galamsey became an issue. Akufo-Addo never accused John Mahama of being complicit in Galamsey.
He never did.
In 2016.
In the campaign.
No MPP person is on record between 2010 and 2016 accusing any NDC person or the president for that matter for being involved in Galamsey during the campaign. This is what Akufo-Addo and the MPP did. He promised to facilitate the introduction of safe and profitable mining through community mining scheme. This is what he did. He gave a clear-cut direction towards dealing with the matter, rather than play propaganda and try to put blame on the president, which obviously you knew doesn't make sense. Because, I mean, which president would look for money to the extent of going into the forest to try to dig the ground and bring, out gold for themselves? Akufo-Addo comes to office, and what he did was, the first quarter, I think April 2017, and this is like 3 months after being sworn in, right?
Yeah.
April 2017, Akufo-Addo places a ban on all form of small-scale mining in the country.
Oh, he did?
Absolute ban. So when you hear John Mahama, His Excellency, and the NDC say, we are just 8 months old, and I'm sure you've heard that. Why are you putting pressure on an 8-month-old government to fight Galamsey when MPP destroyed it in 8 years? That's a complete lie. And I was shocked to hear the president give a response on national TV and create the impression that, we are only 8 months old, and the damage that was caused in 8 years, the damage started being caused from his time when he was vice president. Please, this is the point I think you need to take note. The damage was caused from 2010, 2011. And so if he wants to look at when the damage started, he was vice president. Then he became president. Each of these occasions, he failed to deal with the matter. Galamsey rather became an inheritance of Akufo-Addo, an albatross around his neck. He rather sought to get strategies to deal with a canker that was introduced by John Mahama, His Excellency, and the NDC government. So in 2017, around April, Akufo-Addo sat down with all stakeholders. And in fact, let me also make this point. It was Akufo-Addo who allowed CSOs and the media to follow military men and policemen into the Galamsey fight. So you see media men in helicopters, holding their camera. It was
Metro TV were part of it.
Akufo-Addo's undoing was allowing everybody to see what was going on real time. That was when now people began to really see the real damage of Galamsey. And then when people now became very enlightened, it rather became his problem. But he didn't give up. He placed the ban on small-scale mining for 20 months.
Was it at that place that he said he can put his presidency on the line?
Exactly.
So it was only 3 months.
It was only 3 months. Then he said that he was putting his presidency on the line and that he would fight Galamsey, damn the consequences. And so if you have a man like this, who plays a ban for 20 months, by the time Akufo-Addo lifted the ban, it was 17th December 2018. From April 2017 to December 2018. And guess what? All the water bodies were clearing up at the time. All the water bodies. And the evidence is there. So Akufo-Addo, together with the CSOs and the media people, worked so hard to make sure that at least we're able to get some sanity. At least we're able to get proof that if we do things right, we can get our river bodies back. He didn't just do that. When eventually he wanted to clean up our river bodies, what he did was that he introduced policies and strategies that were not in existence at the time he came. So you see, between the period of April 2017 and December 2018, he placed a ban and then put in mechanisms to ensure that when the ban is lifted, at least we'll be able to have a hold over the mining situation. So he introduced several policies that were not present. How we organize consultations and get stakeholders involved, engaging, the people that matter, chiefs and traditional authorities and what have you, engaging the security councils at the regional level. He engaged the National House of Chiefs, all the stakeholders in the space. Then he established a control room to track earth-moving equipment. Then he introduced online application for small-scale mining licenses to ensure that the acquisition of the licenses becomes a bit more convenient to the people so they don't go illegal. Then he retooled the inspectorate division, got the minerals division development unit going, set up the geological investigations of blocked out areas, then established community mining schemes. The community mining schemes now was giving these locals an opportunity to get involved and also participate. So there were several policies Akufo-Addo introduced until a time when the CSOs and all those who matter said that, as of December 2018, we believe that looking at the sanity that has come into the mining space, it is time for us to lift the ban. A lot of policies. I'm sure you've seen the water guard.
Yes.
That the NDC launched.
Yes.
And then they said they've introduced, we are working, we are fighting Galamsey. Paul, there is not a single new policy, strategy the NDC government have introduced in the last 9 months.
Water guard is old?
It's there. This is water guard. This is water guard. This is water guard.
Oh, they call it river warden.
Yes, this is them. They are here. It's been there. It's nothing new. First batch of 300 river guards begins training at the Eastern Naval Command, September 24, 2022. Here they are, passing out. So if you insult Akufo-Addo,
I see.
You run Akufo-Addo down, you call him names, and then you are voted for, you must do something different. You can't repeat the things that were done and did not work, which you berated. And that's my problem. So Akufo-Addo, after putting in all these mechanisms, he introduced machines for these community mining schemes, for them to do safe mining. These are the machines. These are the equipment.
Brought in by government.
Yes, these are the equipment. And these were introduced so the communities can participate. The launching that they were going to do, may their souls rest in peace, the Gallant 8, they were going to do. It's an existing program.
Yeah, that
they were going to relaunch. You understand? And these are some of the equipment for those programs. The river guards had their speedboats.
Oh, it looks nice.
These were all bought for them.
With state money?
Yes. Now, Akufo-Addo and the MPP government, somewhere around, I think, September, October 2024, had actually prosecuted and convicted 76 illegal miners in this country. 58 of them were Ghanaians, 17 were foreigners. About 140 plus were still pending. But over 850 cases of Galamsey by the Akufo-Addo government, catch, arrest, and prosecute, were being executed.
850?
Yes, 850. So let's watch this video of the river bodies clearing up, around between 2018 and 2021.
Let's see.
The ban on small-scale mining imposed by the president in April 2017 lasted closely 2 years. Illegal mining became topical in the run-up to the 2016 general elections, with promises by then-candidate Akufo-Addo to regularize activities of Galamseyers. However, the president's first move was to announce a 6-month ban on small-scale mining to protect the environment. The ban, which was subsequently extended, was only lifted in December 2018 after a groundswell of complaints by small-scale miners.
We sacrificed a lot to bring the NPP into power. They would have to kill us if the ban is to be implemented.
In his address at this year's State of the Nation address, President Akufo-Addo says the ban was worth it outlining some of the successes chalked.
Some of our water bodies have shown remarkable signs of rejuvenation. River Ancobra, for example, looks restored to life. Indeed, some fish have even been seen in the Ancobra for the first time in a long while.
He added that government will do more to protect water bodies, warning Galamsey remains illegal.
But the battle against Galamsey is nowhere near being won yet, and I appeal to all citizens to be part of the battle to keep our lands and water bodies safe. As I have said on several occasions, this government cannot be against mining. It bears repeating that with the Almighty's having blessed our land with so many precious minerals, mining inevitably will be part of our lives. That is why I had the pleasure of reopening the Anglo Gold Abuaji mine on 22nd January 2019 in order to help Anglo Gold Ashanti secure the needed investment for this project. Government provided a number of fiscal incentives and guaranteed the stability of the
So what's this video about?
So you see, the fact of the matter is that Akufo-Addo, by the time he went to Sona, middle 2018, had already seen signs of our water bodies clearing up.
But I saw the threats from the young men.
Yeah, because
they brought the MPP to power.
And those are the things Akufo-Addo had to suffer by putting a ban on small-scale mining in this country.
Even though they brought the MPP to power.
Yes, those are the things. Those are the sort of political sacrifices he had to make. Because at the time he was placing the ban on small-scale mining, the people were not happy.
Or was he aware that they had worked for him to come to power?
Yes, and that is what led him to say that he's putting his presidency on the line. And you know, the NDC actually put a spin to it. But these agitations are what led to Akufo-Addo actually making that declaration. That you threatened me, you brought me to power and everything, but this is Galamsey. This is destroying our river bodies, it's destroying our forest reserves. If I have to lose my presidency by dealing with this canker, I will do it. So
the 2020 election debacle was not just simple. It was coming out of the belly of Galamsey.
So in 2018, now Akufo-Addo lifts the ban. All the new strategies I mentioned have been put in place.
Yeah.
The river bodies are clearing up. We'll play a video that is showing evidence of that. And let me put it on record. Since 2010, that this new type of Galamsey started, no president had ever been able to clear up our river bodies except Akufo-Addo. For the record. You saw the analysis video from the Atamil's time.
Yeah.
Mahama asked for him, he gave up between 2013 and 2016. Then Akufo-Addo came. Akufo-Addo showed evidence that our river bodies can actually clear up. Not just that, there are videos of the forest reserves that were destroyed actually coming up and growing nicely. So now the ban has been lifted. The thinking is that civil society organization, media, stakeholders, there's a new policy, new strategies in place, so we'll be able to have some sanity. But Galamsey is a crime. The criminals are always there. You may always find people coming there. So even though the ban was lifted and all these strategies, it's still festered. Because these bad people went back into the forest to destroy the forest. Our thinking was that, having shown proof of concept, that indeed, if we work together, we can get our water bodies cleaned up. Everybody will now say, okay, what did we miss? Mr. President, can we look at the few things that we couldn't do and then tweak and still get the thing going? No. The NDC took advantage of it. Now, the party that is supposed to be working with us to be able to get these things dealt with, now go to the people and tell them that, you see, the Galamsey is festering because of Akufo-Addo. They put up a poster. Akufo-Addo's picture is there, Dr. Baumia's picture is there, all the ministers you can think of, everybody's name is there. And they just didn't say that they were allowing Galamsey. They said they were mining.
They themselves.
In fact, they accused Akufo-Addo of mining behind his own backyard. And that is how bad the situation was. We're in a difficult situation. We're going into an election. What do we do? So going into the 2020 elections, the NDC took advantage. Now the party that is supposed to, so that's the evidence of our water bodies.
The clean water.
Yes, yes, yes.
Also, this, can we listen? Is there a video we can listen? Okay. Oh, okay. So that looks like Umaru Sanda.
So you look at this video and you compare it to the video you saw from Anas's documentary.
Yes.
Coming from 2010, 2011, and you can see the clear evidence. So indeed, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's intervention when he came to office actually gave us results.
Yeah.
It actually gave us, and there is no debate about it. And no president, since the kind of Galamsey we are seeing today popped up, has been able to give us this kind of results. However, once we came back and lifted the ban, in spite of all the strategies, we still had bad people going into the water bodies and the river bodies. And we're expecting that we'll all work together and get results. But the NDC said no. Listen to what Felix said.
And now it's as clear. I can even see the rocks beneath the water.
The president and the government at the time, the president and the government at the time were actually responsible for the, and it's only Felix. Felix said it, the president himself said it, all the national executives or the NDC said it.
This ahead of 2020?
Yes. Because at that time, they realized that, you saw the video of the Galamseyers complaining and saying, threatening the Akufo-Addo. So what they did was that when they realized that the Galamseyers and the mining areas were not happy with the Akufo-Addo's intervention,
and most of those seats were held by MPP.
They took advantage. And that's
okay. Let's hear.
With power and authority and the resources of this country, I see them fail at, you see, when Professor Enin and my brother here, Kofi, say that we should take politics out of this. I don't know exactly what they mean. So merely because I'm a politician, I belong to the NDC. When I see clear wrongdoing on the part of the government of the day, the government that people have voted for, entrusted with power and authority and the resources of this country, I see them fail at what I believe to be a relatively straightforward issue in dealing with illegal mining. Actually,
you accuse the NPP of making the fight difficult.
But absolutely, but is that not what has happened?
Come in and you also go on campaign. No, you make it difficult for them to fight it.
There's nothing I can see that can make this fight difficult for the president of Ghana, the government of Ghana, if he wants to deal with it. So I don't understand Dr. Enin's concern. You see, and that kind of commentary is what enables the impunity that we are seeing. Because the government of the day, that should be called out, singled out for blame, then takes cover under collectivity. Something, those of us sitting here, in what way can we stop Galamsey beyond the public commentary we are running? Who has the resources? Why? We have a 15,000 strong army, an almost 40,000 strong police service, and other quasi-security agencies. You are telling me that a state like ours cannot wage a relentless battle against some miscreants destroying our environment and win it? The reason we are not able to do so is that this government is actively participating.
Deal with them, you are useless. You have no business governing. You have no business governing. And then he says, let us come, you and we should come together. We, who want to rebuild Ghana and protect our environment, we should come together with you Galamseyers. So that
So you're talking about the NDC's context.
The NDC now realizing that the mining areas were not happy with the Akufo-Addo's ruthless intervention in dealing with Galamsey, decides to now go and take political advantage. Instead of working with the government for us to work together and get results and at least consolidate the gains we had made with cleaning up the river, they went to the miners. So you have NDC executives, you have even NDC advocates, mining advocates like Mr. Tony Obi and co. in the mining pits, telling the people that vote for us. When we come, we will allow you to mine, word for word, and telling them that if you allow this Akufo-Addo government to come again, they will destroy your mining. And that Galamsey precedes politics. And even some of us, we will do Galamsey with you. And the day Mahama is announced as president, come and we'll let you mine. Let's watch this video and come back.
Said the land in the city. Obeka, Namebua after on the 11th, on the 7th, and she say, at the mom because on one better got now. Said the Bay Union Brave or my Jumata Craig. Most would not have seen it. Now, so that's how the machine was 1 month. I'll be quite now, so the Abba Juma. Now, so no chrome no call for Friday. Eddie, and 2 Quaco to Abana, John Daman Mahama, they do that.
I always used to make a point on TV. Going into the 2020 elections, when the Akufo-Addo was being accused of Galamsey, I told people that, listen, if the government will succeed at the fight against Galamsey, we need everybody on board. Because the way the country runs, when these criminals realize that the opposition party is on their side, they hide behind it. Because they don't have to fight. They don't have to speak. The NDC was speaking for them. And they stay in the forest and mine. How would any government at all, ever succeed at the fight against Galamsey if the opposition behaved like the way the NDC behaved in this manner? And that is where the problem is. It doesn't end with only Mr. Toniobi and Kokuboahe. The president himself, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama himself, and this video is one of the biggest videos that proves that he's an enabler of Galamsey, goes to a mining community, and guess what he tells them? All those who have committed crime of illegal mining have been sent to court, prosecuted, convicted, and jailed. Vote for me. When I become president, I'll release all of them for them to come home. Let's watch this video.
Yaban, Omo Mochi Omo Galamsey no, Omo Atu Omo, Yabama Omo Amnesty, no Omo Saba. Ezu Yaban Omo Mochi Omo Galamsey no Omo Atu Omo Yabama Omo Amnesty no Omo Saba.
The cheers suggest to me that there were a lot of people in the jail then.
Yes.
The cheers means that people had been prosecuted a lot.
Their families were
and their families were unhappy with it. So the cheers, he was widely cheered.
So he was enabling them. So when I say John Mahama is the biggest enabler of Galamsey, this is one evidence. The fact that you tell the Galamseyers that I'm coming to bring you out, you are telling the others who are not in jail yet that when you become president, they can mine for free. And so when you eventually become president and mining has escalated, nobody should be surprised about it. It was a promise you made to them. It was a specific promise you made to them. And guess what? Between 2021, after they lost the 2020 elections, all the way to 2024, the NDC had a deliberate strategy to spin Galamsey until MPP gets out of power. And so the entire period, it was NDC basically turning the entire country against the only man who is known in the history of this country, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to have cleaned up our water bodies and make him look like the one that is actually perpetrating Galamsey in this country. Very sad. For me, one of the saddest things anybody would have done to Nana Akufo-Addo is how the NDC made him look bad in the fight against Galamsey. And yet, nobody is on record to have fought Galamsey harder, stronger than Akufo-Addo. At least, if not for anything at all, the resource is there to prove that he made
Recently, Suleiman Brahma said it. Recently, Suleiman Brahma of the Media Foundation for West Africa said it.
A lot more people are going to say it. Now, when all these things were going on, I made a point. And I have always been consistent. And that's why now I am able to speak and nobody can challenge me as to why I'm speaking. Because I spoke in opposition. My videos are there. I spoke against Galamsey. I spoke against anybody that was involved in Galamsey. And I said that the Galamsey menace is like the drug situation in the Colombians and what have you. You cannot win it with just one group of persons. We must all work together. The NDC disagreed. They thought that, no, they didn't have any role to play and that they had nothing to do with the fight against Galamsey and it's an MPP problem. Let's listen to Sami Jamfi, let's listen to Sam George, and let's listen to the president himself.
Okay, let's see that video.
Deal with them, you're useless. You have no business governing. You have no business governing. And then he says, let us come, you and we should come together. We who want to rebuild Ghana and protect our environment, we should come together with you Galamseyers. So that you influence us to do the Galamsey together or what? We should come together and do what? Can good and evil come together? Can light and darkness come together? Can light and darkness come together? You are destroying water bodies and killing people. Okay. We should come together to do what? Okay. Okay. Is your mama the president? Okay. National security and all of those things. The next global war will be fought over fresh water. We have it. And we are destroying it. Andy, if this is not wickedness, then it is foolishness. It is one of the two. But we cannot continue like this. And we need to be able to call a spade a spade. And the president must act. And you see, Randy, what annoys me the most It's those who say, let's come and sign a pact. A pact for what? Galamsey is a problem. There is a president. There is a government. Fix it. Now you're asking the opposition to come and fix it. Does the opposition issue licenses? Does the opposition issue licenses that we should come and fix it? The people issuing licenses, are they not appointees of the president? Is it not the government issuing a license? Now you want to make it a collective problem? It is not a collective problem. It is your problem. You have created this mess.
We will continue this fight and we will continue this struggle until our water bodies are...
That's interesting.
So you see, if Galamsey is festering after you are in office, and some judge says it's either you are wicked, it's wickedness or it's foolishness. If Akufo-Addo was wickedness, then this is clear foolishness. Why do we still have Galamsey? Why is it still there? Is Akufo-Addo not out of office? According to Sami Jemfi, it is Akufo-Addo and the MPP people who are doing Galamsey. And that once they are voted out of office, Galamsey will cease.
Felix says it here. If you want a proper Galamsey fight, throw Bawumia and MPP out of on December 7th. The only reason why it persists is that major figures in MPP and government are actively involved in it. And as we have heard from Professor Frimpong Boateng say on tape, it is a major source of financing for the MPP. But yes, Frimpong Boateng did say that.
So the Attorney General has referred the national organizer of the NDC and the first vice chairman of the NDC for investigation alleged involvement in Galamsey. So Felix and his people were involved in Galamsey.
No, Felix is not part of it.
But why? I'm saying that Felix and his people, when he was mentioning...
you mean because he says Frimpong Boateng?
I am saying that if Frimpong Boateng's words
or the documents
are anything for Felix, then the Attorney General has referred his party's vice chairman and his party's organizer for investigation for involvement in Galamsey.
National officers.
Does it mean that Felix and his government functionaries in 9 months are the ones responsible for destroying our water bodies? Because remember, the MPP are out of office. And according to Felix, once the MPP are voted out of office, the Galamsey will stop. Guess what? The Galamsey has tripled in the past 9 months.
And the Attorney General thinks that the national organizer has questions.
Then if you listen to Sami Jemfi, and you listen to Sam George, and you listen to the president said that he hears people say that we should come and know it's the mandate of the government. They should go and do it. It has nothing to do with the opposition. Today, whose mandate is it? Is it not the mandate of the president? Is it the president who is involved in Galamsey? I don't think that John Mahama, His Excellency, is in the mining pit mining. I don't think even if he needs money, it will be money from the mining pit. But I think he's enabling them because he's consuming their money. John Mahama is more interested in the profits from Galamsey than worry about the environment because he's buying gold from them. See, go to TikTok. There's a TikTok account, Galamsey TV. They have over 600 followers. They have videos with 3 million, 4 million views. The Galamseyers have cameras on themselves protesting against the government for buying their gold at 8,000 instead of 12,000.
Yes, I heard that.
So you are an enabler. Why are you buying gold from the criminals? Why? If you are buying...
He said that those monies would have gone abroad.
Perfect.
Of the 6 billion, 4 billion would have gone abroad.
So my point is made.
But when the gold is bought, where does the money go? Where does the gold go? It becomes government of Ghana property?
Yes, but that's the money they are now...
Exporting?
Yes. So we are exporting crime. That's what we are doing. We are exporting process of crime.
So how does the government buy it?
Remember that
somebody mines Galamsey from river bodies and brings it to government and
buy
it.
You know the gold board has given licenses to like middlemen, like
to buy for
license buyers. So they go to the villages. You see, when you go to the Galamsey site, in a day nobody's really getting like a pound, like a big one. They call it blade. Blade, like that's like small sizes. So they do like aggregation. Then they will get one sizable size. Then they will sell it to the government license buyer.
Because that's the only legal way to sell it.
Yes. One would have thought that the gold board rather would help deal with this. Because if you are holding the gold and you cannot sell to any other person than gold board, then if it is illegal, you cannot sell it.
Yeah.
So it would discourage you. Yeah. But now they are rather buying from them. And I thought that
the president... don't ask where the gold is coming?
I thought the president would even deny it. I was shocked to the bone.
What did he say?
When the president didn't deny it. And he said that, well, out of the 6 billion that they've exported, about 4 billion of it, if not the fact that they are buying anyway, it would have gone to private pockets. So basically, the president is telling us that out of the $6 billion gold they've exported, 4 billion is illegal mining. That's a very serious situation. We are in trouble. Paul, we are in big trouble. We are in serious trouble if this is the mindset and the thinking of the president. But guess what? Sam George says that the man who is paid to be president has the ultimate power to end this in a week if he wants. He is commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, for Christ's sake. This is a cabinet minister. He's part of the decision-making when it comes to what needs to be done around every issue in the country. He was in cabinet when the government took a decision to withdraw all the security forces from the mining areas. You know they've been withdrawn, the task force.
Yeah, apparently Akufo-Addo withdrew too.
He was in government.
Yeah, he was, yes.
He was in government. Now you have the presidential staffer, which says that no nation deserves to be governed by a political party like the MPP. How can you gang rape and subject your own country to such Galamsey activities? I dare say that if truly Nanado sat in a law class, he would never behave this way. Shameful. I think Beatrice should bow her head down in shame that for such a serious national crisis, they took political advantage of it. This government, this NDC government, they should bow their heads in shame for milking this serious Galamsey matter to their political advantage. Sami Jemfi is here. He said if the MPP could not fight Galamsey in 2,805 days, that is since January 7, 2017. With Operation Vanguard, Galam Stop, they can certainly not fight Galamsey in 86 days, whether or not a state of emergency is declared. Remember that this is a government that used 2 years to clean up our water bodies, Akufo-Addo's government. And they cleaned up a water bodies that they, the NDC, had muddied from 2010. 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 7 years, they destroyed our water bodies. It took Akufo-Addo 20 months to clean the same water bodies. And here he is, lying, spinning, and making Akufo-Addo look bad. Sam George is here again, ranting, saying all manner of things. Galamsey is Ghana's drug trade. It is to Ghana what cocaine is to Colombia. There are cartels involved. These cartels have politicians, chief security personnel involved. Our government is complicit and will not do anything about it. Akufo-Addo bears ultimate responsibility. If Akufo-Addo was complicit in Galamsey, in spite of all he did, in spite of all he said, then I think John Mahama is the biggest enabler of Galamsey. Because for him, he has admitted on national TV for actually buying gold from these illegal miners. Now, John Mahama and Sami Jemfi and all the NDC guys, when we were calling for a collaboration in dealing with Galamsey, they disagreed with us. They didn't think that it was relevant. They didn't think it was necessary. And I think that's the video we played earlier on. So in the run-up to the 2024 election, you know what the NDC did? They started looking for their parties, their friends, like Professor Jampo, Rasford Jampo, you know, and I kept saying, this man is an NDC guy doing NDC Hachejo. No, he's not. And then Rasford Jampo was all over the place, at some point crying.
Even getting looks to
yes,
go. UTAG to go.
At some point crying. Because of the call for state of emergency, he called his own organized labor disorganized labor. And you know what he said? He said that his own colleagues in organized labor, they sat in their rooms and allowed politicians to manipulate them into silence. Today, I asked for example, 8 months now, his political party, that he's enjoying the largesse of the party being in power, have allowed Galamsey to fester so much that it has tripled in terms of the damage to our forest reserves and our river bodies. Has it been manipulated to keep quiet? Why is he not screaming? Why is he not shouting? Why is he no longer talking about the Galamsey that he so much spoke about? Listen, a few weeks to elections, Professor Jampo chased me with a pact, an undertaking, and said that if Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia doesn't sign that pact, the next day they were going to hold a press conference and call him out. That John Mahama has already signed. It's left with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. 1 a.m. I went to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia with Professor Jampo's pact. Undertaking 1 a.m. for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to sign it. At 2 a.m., I had to WhatsApp it to him, take a picture and WhatsApp to him so he gets evidence. So he doesn't call Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia out the next morning. I asked for Jampo, where is that pact? Dr. Bawumia did not win the elections. He had a clear plan in dealing with the Galamsey situation. John Mahama made a promise as to what he would do in dealing with the situation. Where is the pact? The Galamsey call, the state of emergency call that Professor Jampo and all his NDC friends were making, what are they doing about it? Let's watch these videos on their call for state of emergency.
On all forms of mining, we want a state of emergency.
Declare a state of emergency.
Just as we declared lockdown during COVID, let there be a certain declaration.
Yes, I think that national emergency be declared now.
And it is his responsibility to deal with Galamsey now.
I get very passionate when I talk about Galamsey issues because I think the president has failed. And this is not politics. This is about leadership.
We want a ban on all forms of mining. We want a state of emergency.
Declare a state of emergency.
Just as we declared lockdown during COVID, let there be a certain declaration.
Yes, I think that national emergency be declared now.
And it is his responsibility to deal with Galamsey now.
I get very passionate when I talk about Galamsey issues because I think the president has failed. And this is not politics.
Wow.
If you have 4 cabinet ministers calling for a particular action to be taken by the previous government, and you sit in cabinet with these people and you are looking for solutions to deal with the same menace, and you are asked what you are doing about the state of emergency, and you say that you don't think it is time to do it and that we are not there yet, then the question is, what were you calling for 9 months ago? Why were you calling for it 9 months ago? What have you done? What have you done? Why?
Because 9 months ago, the turbidity of the water was not as it is today.
It is worse.
But at that time, they were calling for it.
At that time, you were calling for it.
Now it's worse.
And
they say we are still not there
and
yet.
then he says that we have not exhausted all the approach and so. Let me draw your attention to something. And I'll tell you what. There is not a single action that the John Mahama government has taken since they were sworn in on 7 January about the fight against Galamsey that has not been done in the past.
Yeah, you said that already.
Not even one. He himself, you see, he contradicts himself a lot. He is on video, which has been played, actually saying that he doesn't see the sense and the reason in arresting Galamseyers. In fact, let me remind you, during the 2018-2019 fight by Akufo-Addo, the Galam stopped the vanguard, and the arrest of all these miners, John Mahama actually said it publicly that Akufo-Addo should stop chasing Galamseyers with soldiers, and that he doesn't think that it's sensible, it's wise to use that approach. Meanwhile, you are in office today, and it's the same approach you are using. The approach that you told the Akufo-Addo to stop, I think there's a video, that video hasn't been played yet. The approach, he said that there is no sense, it's not wise to go after the Galamseyers with soldiers and all of that there should be a better way of doing it. And then you come to office, the people vote for you on the back of this, and you're actually doing the same thing that you called unwise. I have a problem with that. And that is why I think that is the biggest enabler of Galamsey, without doubt.
Wow, this is a very interesting presentation. Okay. It's 18 minutes past 11. Let's take text messages and then do we have another video you want us to show?
Yeah, there's a video and then
okay.
I'll wrap up my conclusion. Then
all right, let's look at the video next.
Illegal small-scale mining. Almost sa ejumano si abon ho bayan ebe say asase no. And so yedi nyansa and yedi ye. If we say, sa adi ayedi soldier form, ade echichi ye mabuna omuye illegal small scale mining no. Ya ye bida. Sa okaya ya ye bida. Ewo Ghana ha. And so anye ejuma. Enti ye adwin say we will bring a new mining law ebe regulate sa Galamsey na ama ejuma no etimi akoso ama omo amuye ni ye no etimi aye enya bibi akomo ano. And so bro focus amu Rebecca said if you put a blanket ban and then you send soldiers after the young people, that is not the way to go. As you stop illegal small-scale mining, at the same time, you must put in place a livelihood package so that as you are displacing people from illegal mining, they have something else to do. But when there's nothing to do and you're just chasing them and shooting them, it is not the way to go.
So Paul, you see, the president's level of inconsistencies, contradictions since 2010, 2011, all the way to now, clearly tells you that if the bishops, if civil society, if the media, if the citizens do not rise, he's clear in his mind that Galamsey is going to be a foundation to the economy he wants to build. That is without doubt. Remember that he's already made a point that this whole economy thing, the CDIR brand here is because of Gold Board. Where is Gold Board getting their gold from? He says they are getting 60% from the Galamseyers. We are in big trouble. What we are saying is that we don't think that we should go the route they did. They milked it, they lied on Akufo-Addo, they destroyed him in all manner of ways. They should just apologize to him. They know in their heart Akufo-Addo was not involved in Galamsey. They know in their heart Bawumia was not involved in Galamsey. They know that MPP being out of office doesn't necessarily end Galamsey. And that is why for 9 months, MPP is out of office and Galamsey is tripling and doubling. Once they do that, they should also apologize to the Ghanaian people for their inconsistent, their flip-flopping on the issue of Galamsey, especially with the lackadaisical nature with which the president is dealing with the matter. And stop buying the gold from the criminals. All we are asking him to do is to go back to his promises and fulfill what he said he would do. This is what we used as a country to elect him. He says that he will repeal the LI that allows mining the forest reserves. He supported the call to declare state of emergency. Several members of his cabinet supported him. There's a ban on the ban on all forms of small-scale mining for a while. It's a promise he made he would do in 120 days. Today is September. We don't have a ban on all forms of small-scale mining. Remember, he's not the only one that made that promise. Akufo-Addo did it. He made the promise, and in the first 3 months, he enforced it for 2 years. He said he was going to free all the arrested Galamseyers.
No, the ban all forms of mining forest areas.
Yes, the forest reserves also was there. Then he says he was going to free all arrested Galamseyers and give them back their seized excavators. He's still arresting Galamseyers. Those he said he will give amnesty. Recently, he gave amnesty to over 900 people or so. The Galamseyers were not part. That is a problem. That is dishonesty. He said he was going to use artificial intelligence to fight Galamsey. We are yet to see and understand the sort of artificial intelligence and how he's going to use that to deal with it. What we are saying is that we're not happy the manner in which the president responded to Kojo Yankson. I even thought it was only Kojo Yankson and that maybe he was just playing with words. Until last night, I saw the letter from the Catholic bishops where they intimated that on 2 occasions
they had met him.
They had actually met him.
That's quite serious.
And they were not satisfied with the response. Again, pay attention. They said he prioritized the issues of
economy, money,
over the environment. And that for me is a big problem. You realize that it also reflected in his response that he gave to Kojo Yankson. The bells are there, the signals are there. It is quite clear that John Mahama, His Excellency, is not ready and willing to fight the menace, the manner in which we want it. We all need to work together and simply ask him to take specific steps in dealing with the matter. Completely, ensure that whatever it is that he did between 2013 and 2016, for which reason he couldn't succeed in the fight against Galamsey, he doesn't repeat them. He should use new approach. Simply go to the promises you made in your manifesto and get it done. His utterances that he made between 2017 and 2024 are also one of the indications of why I think he's a bigger enabler of Galamsey. The NDC government buying gold from Galamseyers, there is nothing that makes you an enabler of Galamsey than buying the proceeds of the work that they do. His subtle endorsement of Galamsey through his response, when Kojo Yankson asked him the question, for me it's also a big, big matter. His reluctance to admit that the Galamsey menace has escalated in the last 9 months and show clear strategies in dealing with it is a big problem for me. Not a single strategy introduced since he assumed office is new. So for me, these things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, are my key reasons why I am clear in my mind that no president in our 4th Republic has publicly enabled and facilitated Galamsey than the president that we have. And I think that as quickly as possible, he must take steps, backtrack, sit down with his people. Those who need to render apologies to render apologies. Because I think that no matter what the NDC do, they owe Akufo-Addo an apology. And that for me is something they have to do. Afterwards, they can get the support of everybody, civil society, media. I personally will advocate to my political party to work with them, unlike they did. We work together and find a solution to this menace. Thank you for.
Well, let's take our seats. But Fatih, what are people saying right now?
Interesting messages from people. Rafat Hussein says this representation by Dennis is qualified as a PhD thesis. What a masterstroke of a presentation. It's revealing. President Akufo-Addo was ruthless in dealing with the menace. Today, these Galamseyers are mining with full backing of the government despite all the noise they made in opposition. Gabriel also says, yes, the ban was good then and Operations Vanguard was active. So why did we, after doing all of that, bought an LI that granted permits to miners in forest reserves? What about the missing excavators, leaked audios of party, Professor Frimpong Boaten's report accusing cabinet ministers, government appointees, members of interministerial committee, party officials, and so on? Honorable Dr. Efriye said they won't stop Galamsey. Same thing is happening now. Ghanaian political parties are the same. So how was the water bodies, forest reserves, and communities in 2024? Both parties are not helping. Everyone is taking cover and refusing to act. Ali from Tamale says, the prevalence of Galamsey in Ghana extends beyond the past 8 years, with its origins tracing back to the Nkrumah era, which was done in a meaningful way. Although Galamsey has been a persistent issue, its detrimental effect on our water bodies became pronounced in 2011. The situation worsened during President Mahama's administration from 2012 to 2016, and it's crucial to recognize the complicities involved in curbing Galamsey, particularly considering that a significant proportion of individuals involved in this activity, approximately 80%, are aligned with the NDC. This presents a considerable challenge for any NDC government to address the issue. Abdul Rahman also says miracles is talking fact. Ghanaians will soon cry for help under this evil government. I'm not surprised. Coming from Samuel Kisi, he says evidence-based presentation. God bless you, Miracle. No wonder Mahama said Ghanaians have short memories. Savali also praises Miracles. He says, your analysis is always on point with facts. You are exposing the NDC government. And lastly, coming from Hajia Halima, she says President Mahama in 2013 sent some miners to China to learn mining only for them to return with shamfangs, which they placed on our rivers. In the past, axes and hoes were used to gather and sell, which is now called Galamsey. Then the miners started renting excavators, which was used by the large-scale miners. Now back to you, Paul.
Wow. Let me look at some text messages. Some says, excellent presentation by Miracles Dennis Abuaji. This is what happens when the election tension dies down and now common sense is prevailing. No one should trust the NDC administration. Somebody says, can't the president be impeached for this? Can't he be sued? I know he has majority in parliament, but at least, just for the records. Somebody says, Miracles Dennis Abuaji, can you hold this process that you had with Paul as a video and meet with civil society at the College of Surgeons and show everything to them so that we can document all of these things? Another one says, can you write a letter to the Speaker of Parliament documenting all these things and complaining about President Mahama's approach so that at least it's recorded for the next few years so no other president will do that again, etc., etc. Generally, people like your presentation, Miracles. But it's 11:30 in the night. What's your final word?
Paul, I think for me, my view is that it's not too late. The president should quickly backtrack and let's get back to the drawing board. I mean, he's gained the power on the back of this propaganda. It's too late. There's nothing we can do about that. But it's never late to fix the situation. The situation is dire. It's very bad. I have always held that Akufo-Addo's challenges in dealing with the Galamsey issue post-2020 was because of the way NDC handled the propaganda situation. Because they gave some energy to the Galamseyers. And that's why Akufo-Addo did everything and he couldn't succeed. But we will not do that to them. And so you should quickly backtrack and let's sit down together and deal with it. But with the current posture of nonchalance and the current posture of being lackadaisical in dealing with the situation, is going to kill all of us.
Okay, nothing useful to add, not much to add. Let's remember that the Asante Hima, please get me the Asante Hima tape again, let me end with it. Let's remember that the Asante Hima burial is taking place on Thursday, and instructions have been given. Those of you who live in Kumasi, instructions have been given as to how to go about it. I will certainly be there on Thursday morning. So if you're around Mensha, look for me. I'll be in, I'll stay in Kwadaso and then I'll go to Mensha for the events. Maybe I'll go back to Kwadaso for lunch. I love Kwadaso. And of course, I'll go to Kwamo and Ejusu and all of those areas. Thursday is a Kumasi day, and so is Friday. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Wosechebuye, Dream Anoma, Crop Bia Yefri, and woman Passachi Kotoko. Kotoko free dudum fredo, Sina Peja so say, Ukuma Pema, a Pembeba, or Santa Hino Tum for say to Tosumi Enwe, or Kojia Maupem Swadeshe, Kotoko Hini Peja Tio, a Wuniana Nakunedu Yard Motosmians, and Anna Santema, a Brandemai, a Duampo Frenchy, Kotokoima Ufi can chinchi dia menisa ma Santamandi Tiprenia Mwakwa, Eyuaye, or Dudo Bibia Winimo Mahe, into to major rampon fee, Usia Bura. Udum frete dan frete chempa wo chema no so mpempem basetia basakesi oyi adom atufukasi a wutrum pempem ankoma akrawa bedi awbo adwuma akrawani biwe enti otufo se chotoso mienu asante hene kumase na nanom ahemfo asanteman council oyoko aboshan abusua ne asantema asi wi asese odupom bi nyiri avre oyoko aboshan ama esenkesi aka abutu kokwa anya kotoko hema anakuna du yi adom otoso miensa abreneman anatena ya do madwa so hwe echi se asante ma emfie wotwe enti ohema akwankwaja ho hyehyeye ni ananom be prasra platform makotoko hema asi from Juada 15 September 2025 na ye jamno brada ukuada na yawada ene de twato ama omampanyini Ghana man ni amanone adehia hodo abema otufo ne asanteman yako na nanumre na asante ma ebeda sekum akobreman na asante mai tete hema wonim sika kuramu bosombrafo osinso so de hekwaw ene de akokwa abo amman moduafo epe ohye awura osrebu osachi osrebu akuampon akiributu kira brane osante ma anya atwanso asanteman se yeso ntene enso ya wi abo bukata ba kwa ye de bosompra panyini ne achemi waye ohema de mefadua apiafo